Hello everyone, I'm CJ Werleman. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button below and please help keep our show going and growing by supporting my journalism at patreon.com/CJ Werleman. Now let's get into it. Western countries are obsessed with removing items of clothing from Muslim women. And it's been this way since European nations began colonizing North Africa and the Middle East during the previous century. And it's this obsession that explains the West's support for the women's protest movement in Iran. Because nothing gets white people in Europe and North America more excited than Muslim women removing their hijabs and setting them on fire. You see, from the ordinary white person's perspective, Islamic clothing equals repression and nudity, freedom, which explains why Western feminists around the world are now getting naked to show their solidarity for Iranian Muslim women, like this protest in the Netherlands over the weekend. But getting naked in public can hardly be called feminism. These European women, as well-meaning as they might be, are perpetuating the idea that a woman must take her clothes off in order to be heard. That's not freedom, that's slavery to patriarchy. You know, the exact opposite of feminism. And while I strongly support these courageous Iranian women in their fight for liberty against the tyrannical regime in Tehran, I do so because I support all people who live under the rule of repressive authoritarian regimes. But Western support for the women of Iran is not about saving women from repression. It's about anti-Muslim prejudice and scoring political points against a regime the West has long opposed. Audiences are being duped into believing Iran is the new front in the war between Islam and Western civilization. I mean, do you really believe white people would suddenly get behind the Palestinian liberation cause if Palestinian women started removing their hijabs and setting them on fire? Of course they wouldn't, because we know for certain Western countries don't support Palestinian women under any circumstance, even when Israeli warplanes are setting them on fire with incendiary bombs. I mean, let's not forget Western countries were silent when Israel killed 24 Palestinian women in Gaza early this year, and 39 the year before. But look who's suddenly coming to the rescue of Muslim women in Iran.
We support Iranian women. We support you.
Israel, love you.
The women of Israel will always stand with you.
We will always remember you, Mahsa.
We will never forget you. We will never forget you.
Now bear in mind that these are the same Israeli women who drive miles from their homes in Tel Aviv to climb up a hill in Sderot to watch and enjoy American taxpayer-funded Israeli warplanes bombing Muslim women in Gaza. But now they suddenly want you to believe they stand with Muslim women in Iran. So please, explain to me how Israel and the West's support for Iranian women is in any way related to saving Muslim women from repression. Clearly it's not. Clearly this is about politics and the obsession with taking Muslim women's clothes off, because the same people who object to authoritarian regimes forcing women to wear the hijab are notably silent when countries aligned with the United States force Muslim women to remove the hijab. You see, hijab bans and hijab mandates are two sides of the same coin. But Western audiences have conveniently forgotten that the US-backed Shah of Iran's move to ban the hijab in the 1950s was severely traumatic to the Iranian people and paved the way for the Islamic Revolution of the 1970s. But today, white feminists support laws that ban Muslim women from wearing the hijab and niqab in public. Why? Because Islamophobia has fostered the fallacy that Islamic clothing correlates with repression and extremism. This falsehood has constructed the idea that Muslim women are dangerous but in need of saving.
To colonizers, the veil was backward and signified the oppression of women and the primitiveness of Islam. Egyptian and Algerians who veiled were the least civilized. Indians who partially veiled were more civilized. Europeans who didn't veil at all were civilization.
Put another way, when Muslim women remove their clothing, they become good Muslims who are deserved of our support. But when they remain dressed in a manner consistent with their religious and cultural beliefs, they are deserved only of fear and suspicion. This is why hijab-removing Iranian women are lavished with praise and attention in the media. But whereas hijab-wearing Muslim women who are equally persecuted in Palestine, Kashmir and India are treated like a global security threat. I mean, right now Afghan women are marching in Kabul to demand their basic human rights, but wearing a niqab somehow makes them unworthy victims. But it's critically important that we see Muslim women beyond the paradigm of liberation versus oppression, and beyond the dichotomy of threatening versus in need of saving, because our obsession with their clothing is why Muslim women bear the brunt of hate crimes. A study found that 58% of all verified anti-Muslim hate crimes are against women, and in 80% of those cases, the woman was wearing a hijab, niqab, or other clothing associated with Islam. While another study found that 70% of Muslim women who wear a hijab have reported at least one incident of discrimination. Research also demonstrates how hate crimes against Muslim women skyrocket after hateful comments are made about them in the media. For instance, when former British Prime Minister Boris Johnson compared niqab-wearing Muslim women to letterboxes, hate crimes against all Muslim women jumped a whopping 375%. But getting back to the protests in Iran, actual progressive voices in the West need to be mindful of the way certain elements within the Iranian diaspora are bona fide warmongers who don't give a single care about the people of Iran.
Absolutely. And tell Netanyahu that I totally love and support everything he's doing. And if he wants to bomb Iran, I'm totally in support of him. I think that...
You're down for bombing Iran?
I'm down for bombing Iran only because I think that we should have invaded Iran instead of Iraq, because the Iranians would have appreciated it and they would have been liberated, whereas the Iraqis didn't want us there and they don't appreciate it. So sanctions on Iran, bomb the bad people in Iran, and help them, liberate them. They want to be free.
Many don't care about persecuted Palestinians either, like this Iranian expatriate speaking to an audience at an American Zionist conference.
So I'm honored to be here and ask you, when we have common enemy, what can we do? We have to be united as well. We need a united Middle East.
It should go without saying that genuine human rights defenders don't seek alliances with Israel, an apartheid regime guilty of war crimes and too many human rights violations to count. But more than that, genuine human rights defenders must be willing to defend the rights of all persecuted peoples, not just those who can be instrumentalized for geopolitical gain. And we, as human rights defenders, should be willing to call out those who are instrumentalizing Iranian women to advance Islamophobia and the strategic interests of Israel and the United States. The hijab-removing women of Iran deserve better. They are fighting a regime that denies them their basic human rights, while dishing out the most egregious violence imaginable. And we should support all persecuted women, not only those who are willing to take off their clothes. Anyway, that's my time for today. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and we kindly ask you please support this endeavor by becoming a member of this show at patreon.com/CJWellman. We can't produce, sustain and grow this show without your help, and we offer exclusive benefits to those who do. But for now, good night, good morning, wherever you are, and stay blessed.